Friends, welcome to another video in our series Finance and Investing Tidbits. In this video, we are going to talk about the concept of modified IRR. I hope you have seen my video on IRR before you see this video. If you have not seen it as yet, kindly see the video, the link to which is available in the description box, and I am also providing it right here. After that, it will be worthwhile seeing this video. Thank you. Also, see the file containing various examples shared in the description box of the IRR video so that you are familiar with that concept. In essence, IRR is that we try and discover that rate of return which is underlying the cash flows. There are two typical cash flows involved: initial outflow in the form of investment, and then there are recurring cash inflows in the form of return on that investment. So, given the pattern of these cash flows, outflow and then inflows, we should be able to discover what is the hidden or inherent rate of return in this particular pattern of cash flows. When we do that, and you would have experienced that in that IRR video, the important assumption behind IRR is that the cash flows generated from time to time are reinvested at the same rate as IRR. So for example, if the IRR is 16%, it is assumed that all the cash inflows which are going to arise from time to time on that investment are going to be reinvested at 16% itself. Now, if there is only one outflow, like buying a growth scheme of a mutual fund, and then one inflow, that is when you get the money back on sale of units, the calculated IRR will not pose any challenge because the reinvestment responsibility is taken by the mutual fund itself. However, if we calculate IRR in a situation where there are multiple inflows from an investment like dividends from a dividend mutual fund scheme or dividends from share, then this reinvestment assumption becomes very important. Let us take an example. In fact, I have captured an example in an Excel file which is available for download, and you can download it from the link in the description box. So you can even pause this video, download the Excel file, observe the data, and then of course listen to this video again. So suppose this company is investing in a project worth 1000 crores and forecast different cash flows from year to year in the form of the return on this investment. It also hopes to realize rupees 600 crores at the end of the project life. Then, as you're familiar with, the IRR can be calculated using the formula provided by Excel. And as you can see in the Excel file, the IRR then works out to 14.94%. Now, it is therefore assumed that the inflows which are happening from time to time are reinvested at 14.94%. Now, that's quite a challenge because that may not be always possible. So, if the received cash flows can be reinvested only at the rate of 8%, then what is the real return generated from this project? And the answer to this question could be found by calculating modified IRR. Now do keep an eye on that Excel file also so that you are able to relate to what I am narrating here. But as you can see in the Excel file, this can be found by calculating the maturity amount for each of those annual cash flows that we are going to receive from year 1 to year 9. Year 10, of course, there is no need of reinvesting it because we are already coming to the end of the project life. So if each of those cash flows from year 1 to 9 are reinvested for rest of the project life, and then we aggregate them, we take a total of them, and we find out the IRR as if there was one initial investment, as you can see, of 1000 crores and one final amount received at the end. That one final amount is nothing else but a sum total of all the invested amounts of the earlier cash flows from year 1 to year 9. Now, when we calculate the IRR of these two outflows and inflows by filling zeros in between, as you can see, I have given detailed instructions in the Excel file. This can be called as the modified IRR, and it tells you the realistic return that you have realized. So that works out to much lower at 12%. Now you can try one more thing. If the reinvestment was happening at the IRR rate itself, I have actually highlighted that cell in yellow. You can even try inputting the IRR itself. Then you will find that the modified IRR is exactly equal to IRR, because the assumption of IRR is reinvestment at the same rate as IRR. We are calculating modified IRR because we may not be able to reinvest at such a high rate. We are able to invest at a much lower rate, and therefore we are calculating the modified IRR. But as you can intuitively think, if the reinvestment is also happening at the same rate as IRR, then modified IRR will be the same as IRR. You can try and play around on that Excel file. So this example clearly tells us the importance of reinvesting the cash flows that we receive from an investment. Talking about personal investments, that is the reason why growth schemes of mutual funds are recommended than dividend schemes. When we go for dividend schemes, what happens? The dividend that we receive gets taxed at our hand at marginal rate of income tax, and also the remaining amount may not get reinvested at a good rate. That may get just reinvested at the savings bank account rate, because the money is just simply lying in the savings bank account. This brings down our overall rate of return, or the modified IRR of our investment works out to be much less than what the IRR that may get reported to us. So therefore, the best thing to do is invest in growth schemes, because the reinvestment happens at a much better rate, and therefore growth schemes are recommended rather than dividend schemes. For more such videos, do explore our channel, Dr. Abhijit Fadnis. Thank you.